Hey, what's up? Welcome to Friends in Beauty, a place for beauty industry creatives looking to create impact, influence, and longevity. I'm your best friend in beauty, Akua Robinson, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 6 steps to building a strong beauty brand in 2021. So, if you want to know what it takes to have impact, longevity, success, influence, all of those things in the beauty industry, then keep on watching. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into these 6 steps for building a strong beauty brand in 2021. So if you've been in the beauty industry for some time like myself, or maybe you're just getting started, you may have noticed that there is no exact blueprint to success. There's not a manual that we could follow to say, hey, you do X, Y, and Z and it equals this. There is none. And I used to get so frustrated, oh my gosh, when I first started out in the industry, because I always used to ask people like, what do I need to do, to have success, or what do I need to do to get these opportunities? And I could never get a straight answer. And now that I've been in the industry for some time now, I've been in the industry for 8 years as a makeup artist, I kind of understand, the answers that I was getting now, because everybody's story and everybody's path to success really is extremely unique. And it's not like one particular thing that somebody can tell you to do to, point you in the right direction. It's so many different ways that you can go. But these 6 steps that I'm about to give you remain true with no matter what industry that you're in. But we are in the beauty industry, so we are talking about building a strong beauty brand. All right, so step number 1 to building a strong beauty brand in 2021 is to create your core values. So your core values are essentially the beliefs that your brand stands for, and they act as a compass to kind of guide you with your brand story, how you show up, and the decision-making process in your brand. And your core values are really, really important because they influence how your audience sees your brand. And essentially that's important because people are more likely to support and buy from people whose core values align with their own, right? So building your brand around your core values allows you to build a brand that you are going to be passionate about. And because your core values are a reflection of you as a person, it's just easier to stay true to yourself and just show up as your authentic self each and every time. So whether or not you believe that you have core values, you actually have some already. Even if you haven't officially established them, your audience has already made up their mind about how they perceive you and certain buzzwords that come to mind when they think about your brand. And this is an exercise that I had to do in a couple of coaching programs that I was in, just to develop my core values, just to make sure that I was authentically showing up as myself and that my brand was being represented the way that I wanted it to be perceived. So there are several ways that you can create your core values. One of the ways that I love is to just brainstorm a list of words and feelings that you want people to have when they interact with your brand. And then I would narrow it down to 3 or 4 things that really resonate with you. Another way that you can develop your core values is to actually look at the brands that you love already. Who are those people that stand out in your particular niche, right? And then think about, what are those words and those feelings that come to mind when you think about that brand, when you interact with that brand, and then try to align your brand with those same values. And then another one that I really, really love for setting my core values is to actually ask people. A lot of the times it's hard for us to really think about ourselves in a certain way, and we think that we're bragging or whatever it is. But one thing that I actually did in the past was to create a poll or a questionnaire, more so a questionnaire, and I sent it out to my clients, my friends, and my family, and it had certain questions on it. If I find it, I will leave a link down below for it, or just leave the questions that I asked down below in the description. But it was super duper helpful because you start to see that a lot of people had the same answers and the same feelings when it came to you. So Absolutely love that idea of just creating a questionnaire and sending it out to people and, you know, see what they say about you. So at the end of the day, when it comes to your core values, just think about how you want your brand to be perceived and then show up as that. Step number 2 to creating a strong beauty brand is to set yourself apart. So we've heard it time and time again. The beauty industry is oversaturated. Everybody and their mama and their cousin is in the beauty industry, right? So the question is, how do you begin to set yourself apart from, you know, the pool of people who are doing the exact same thing as you're doing? And the answer is, it is time to niche down. What do you want to be known for? I mean, we're so multifaceted as creatives, as beauty industry creatives, that sometimes it's very hard to just be known for one thing. But what is that one thing that you want to be known for? What is that thing that you can just talk about for hours on end without being interrupted, and that you just know everything about, that you are just truly passionate about? Just really think about it. So start to identify your interests, your passions, your special gifts, right? Then think about, what is a problem that you can solve? What is something that people always ask your advice on, and they know that you can get it done? And then you want to research your competition. See if there are other people out there doing the exact same thing that you're doing already. Determine the profitability of that niche, and then test it out, because it's only one way to know, right? You got to test it out. And I always say this, if you've been following me for a while, then you know I say this all the time, but I have a coach that used to say all of the time that everything is an hypothesis. Remember, we used to do the little science experiments back in the day in school? But everything is a hypothesis, and you won't know until you try it out. But as soon as you try it out, you can start to, you know, tweak little things to get it the way that you want. But you have to test out that idea. So start to identify those interests, those passions that you have. Think about a problem that you could solve. Research the niche. You know, try it out and see what happens. Step number 3 to building a strong beauty brand is to know your audience. And this is something that I always see a lot of beauty industry creatives kind of overlook when it comes to running your business and creating a strong brand, is that we want to serve everybody, right? You want to serve everybody, but everybody is not your target audience. Everybody is not your client. You want to identify your target audience. They are those people who are going to be most interested in what you're selling, your services, and they're more than likely united by some commonality, like their demographics, like where they live, or the type of music they listen to, the type of activities that they do, their salary, all types of things, right? But the better you understand who your target audience is, you'll be able to streamline your marketing efforts, you'll be able to streamline your content better, and reach that audience that's going to more than likely convert into real life clients who, you know, pay that coin. But when you don't know your target audience, you might notice that you get inquiries that have nothing to do with, you know, the scope of work that you do, or when you post on social media, you might not get the engagement that you want, because you have to know exactly who you're looking for. Like, if you're just talking to everybody, then it's just kind of like throwing something at the wall and just hoping that it sticks. But if you know who you're looking for in particular, then you can speak directly to that person, and it's much easier to get the results that you want. And like I said, we get in the habit of wanting to serve everyone, but we really can't do that anymore. You have to become really specific. So take some time to really think about who it is that you want to serve. Not who wants to work with you, but who do you want to work with. Take some time to really think about, you know, who this person is. And every successful business has like an ideal client avatar. So why can't we have one too as beauty industry creators, right? Every business has one. Apple has one, Canon has one, YouTube probably even has one, okay? So really take some time to think about, you know, like the demographics of this person, like their age, their salary, you know, their lifestyle, what are some of their likes and dislikes, what are their challenges, what are the things that make them laugh. Like, get down and dirty. Like, you should be able to write down a whole description of who that person is, okay? Because when you know your ideal client, like I said, it just becomes so much easier to create content and just all of the things that are going to attract them into your business, and then you just continue to nurture them. And one of the things that I did when I was trying to identify my ideal client was actually to look at the clients that I already had, the clients that I just absolutely adored. And there was one in particular who was just a boss. I just love her so much. But I was able to use her as an example of, like, this is the prototype. Like, this is the type of client that I can see myself serving over and over and over again. So that does bring me to step number 4, because I mentioned it already, which was to nurture your audience. So now that you have your core values, you know your niche, what's going to set you apart, and you know your target audience, now it's time to nurture them. Now it's time to create some content or a community or something that is going to keep your audience engaged and turn them into clients. So let's talk about social media, for example. So let's say Instagram. So when you're posting on Instagram and you're trying to think of these captions to write and, you know, what should I say and all that good stuff, that only truly comes from knowing your target audience, right? But you know your target audience after, you know, doing that step. But your target audience, when they come to your post, should feel like you are reading their mind. They should feel like you are talking directly to them. And that's what it means to nurture your audience. And it only comes from really knowing who your target audience is. You won't be able to do that without, you know, knowing who they are. So you have to know their likes. You have to know their dislikes. You have to know the challenges that they have and address them in your post, in your caption. So a way that you can continue to nurture your audience is, so if you have a business page on Instagram, you should be able to see your insights. So you can take a look at the posts that you've done in the past to see how they perform, see, you know, what your audience engaged with more or less, and continue to do more of the things that they engaged with, and just experiment with your content. Do more of, you know, what worked, do less of what didn't work, and monitor your success. Just keep track of, you know, what is working and what isn't. And then you can also survey your audience. This is something that I do a lot. So a lot of the times I just ask questions like, you know, what are your challenges, or what are your likes, or what is your opinion on this, just so people can start to weigh in the comments, and then I can get an idea for, you know, what needs to be done to address their concerns. When you know your audience's concerns and challenges, then you can start to position what you offer as the solution. And on the other side, when you know their likes and you know their goals, then you can show them how what you offer can help them do more of that. Another way to nurture your audience that a lot of beauty industry creatives take for granted too is creating an email list. An email list is super duper important in 2021. I mean, social media is just so unpredictable these days that you just don't know. I have several friends in beauty whose pages got deleted mysteriously from Instagram, and it took them months to get it back, you know? So it's just so uncertain sometimes when it comes to social media. So you do want to make sure that you do have an email list, because that's another way that you can nurture your audience outside of social media. You can send them like specialized content, you know, just for them. And when you have an email list, those people have signed up to hear from you specifically. So they want to be there. They want to see the content that you have. Whereas with Instagram, you know, people could follow you and you could never come across their timeline ever again, or be like very few and far in between. But having an email list, you can, you know, send special offers there, and it's just a way to keep in contact with your audience outside of social media, and they can always know what you're up to. So make sure you are nurturing your audience. Step number 5 to creating a strong beauty brand in 2021 is to create boundaries. So when I think about boundaries, I always think about the phrase that if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. When you set boundaries in your business, it will help you become more productive, And it also helps you lay the ground rules for how your business will run. So whatever is important to you and how your brand operates is how you will set your boundaries. So think about the things that you will stand for and that you will not stand for, and everybody's boundaries are going to be completely different. So some examples of boundaries to consider are, correspondence. Are you booking appointments in the DMs, or do you prefer for people to email you, or do you not care? Payment processing. Do you require a deposit? Do you require your payments up front? The type of work that you do. This one was a big one for me, because of course when you're first starting out in the industry, I always encourage people to try like a little bit of everything to see what they like, but after a while you will have an idea for the type of work that you want to do and the type of work that you don't want to do. So make sure you're setting boundaries around that and stick to it. Also, appointment times and your work schedule. I know for me, one of my boundaries is that I will not do makeup appointments before 8 a.m. Unless, of course, they're going to pay me extra to wake up super duper early and travel to them. But as a, regular standard, I won't do makeup appointments before 8 a.m. And then also a work schedule, because sometimes as creatives, we get so caught up in work that we will go all day long. I mean, it's something that we're passionate about and we don't even realize it, but we will work all day long with no break, no food, and all that good stuff. So create some boundaries around your work schedule as well. Like, what are the time frames that you want to work in? And then, whatever else is important to you and how your brand operates, create your boundaries and stick to them. Think about it. Are there any boundaries that you need to set as soon as possible in your brand? I wonder. So step number 6 in creating a strong beauty brand in 2021 is consistency. And I hope you didn't think that I was going to end this video without mentioning consistency, because we hear it time and time again. Consistency is key. And consistency really is one of those things that separates the people who are successful and thriving from the people who are not as successful and not thriving or broke. Your audience has to get used to hearing from you. And once they get used to hearing from you consistently, they're going to want more because you're amazing. And are you going to let them down? When it comes to consistency, you want to be realistic about how often you can deliver. Like, be super realistic about that. And develop a routine for it. Plan ahead of time if you need to. Make what you're doing fun and take responsibility for the process and separate yourself from the outcome at this time. But one thing that I never hear people really talk about when it comes to consistency is that consistently doing the wrong thing over and over again, or consistently not showing up, take some time to reverse. You're not just going to wake up one day and just be this consistent person who's just always delivering. It takes time to reverse the fact that you have not been consistent over time. So please give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. Be patient with yourself and trust the process. All of your efforts, I promise, will be worth it in the end. So think about, what can you be more consistent with? And just continue to show up. Like, just continue to show up and do your thing, and I promise over time it will pay off. And I know I said 6 steps, but I do have a bonus for you. So my bonus for creating a strong beauty brand in 2021 is community. You cannot get very far in the beauty industry or most industries without having a community, a tribe that is going hard with you and for you. You have to start aligning yourself with like-minded people who understand where you are and your vision and just want to genuinely see you win. It's very hard for your friends and your family to understand what you go through as a beauty industry creative. Unless they are entrepreneurs themselves, it's going to be very hard for them to understand the ups and the downs of you running your business. So community is super important when it comes to building a strong beauty brand, and that is why I created the Friends in Beauty Facebook community. It's just a community for like-minded and ambitious friends in beauty, to virtually connect, network, and share resources, and just, bounce ideas off of each other. And when you have a community of people, it comes with friendship, it comes with referrals, it comes with opportunity, it just comes with people who just understand you to the core. So if you are not a part of a community already, there are several. I have the Friends of Beauty Facebook community, but there are several communities on Facebook and meetup.com and so many other places. Even you can create something in your own city. Like if you don't have a community somewhere, you can create one for yourself and just invite people, kind of like a mastermind. There's so many different options out there, but community is super duper important. And if you're trying to do this on your own, you are not going to make it very far in the beauty industry. All right, so that is the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed those 6 steps to building a profitable beauty brand. And the last thing that you have to do is just take action. So go through those steps, determine what you need to do to, you know, make 2021 your best year yet, and let's go ahead and get it popping. I will talk to you in another video. Make sure you share this video with one of your friends in beauty, comment, subscribe, like this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.